Why do some people consistently create opportunities, make money, while others seem to stay invisible? Most people think it's because they know LinkedIn better. I don't. If we haven't met before, I'm Howie Chan, influence strategist and founder of the Behavioring Company. In 2024, I was named the #1 creator worldwide for branding and positioning on LinkedIn. Now I have over 112,000 followers, but over the last few years, LinkedIn has opened doors I could never have imagined. Clients from around the world, podcast appearances, magazine covers, speaking engagements, you name it. And what I've realized is this: none of those opportunities happen because I mastered the algorithms of LinkedIn. They happened because I learned how people make decisions. And that's what this video is about. The most successful people on LinkedIn have these 5 things in common. Number 1, they are very clear about what they want to achieve. Number 2, they believe that clarity is better than cleverness. Number 3, they believe that different is better than better. If you are not distinct from everything else that people are seeing on the platform, you might as well be invisible. Number 4, they know that opportunities are social. Number 5, when I say LinkedIn, what comes to mind? Most people is probably one of these 2 things: an online resume or a place to look for your next job. And while LinkedIn is certainly those things, that's not what it has become. Today, LinkedIn has more than 1 billion members. And more importantly, it's filled with hiring managers, recruiters, founders, CEOs, journalists, conference organizers, business decision makers. This isn't just a social network. It is one of the biggest opportunity for business ever created. Every day people are deciding, who should we hire? Who should we invite to speak? Who should we partner with? And here's what's fascinating. Only about 1% of LinkedIn users actively create content. 9% engage, and the other 90, they're just quiet. They're watching, they're reading. And most people see that and think, nobody's looking at my content. Why do I even post? I see something completely different. An invisible but critical audience. Because inside that 90% is your next client, your future boss, the recruiter who messages you 6 months from now, the conference organizer looking for a speaker, the journalist looking for an expert. It could be an investor, a board member, someone who's important, someone who mentions your name in a meeting you never attend. Over the last few years, LinkedIn has opened doors I could never have imagined. Clients from around the world, podcast appearances, magazine covers, speaking engagements, you name it. And what I've realized is this: none of those opportunities happen because I mastered the algorithms of LinkedIn. They happened because I learned how people make decisions. One of my favorite quotes come from Stephen Covey. He says, everything is created twice, first in the mind and then in reality. That's exactly what happens on the LinkedIn platform. Before someone gets the client, the promotion, the keynote, the board seat, something has already been created in that person's mind. A perception, a memory, an association, a feeling. That's why this isn't going to be a video about LinkedIn tactics. I'm not going to teach you the best time to post, how many hashtags to use. Don't use hashtags. Or how to beat the algorithm, because none of those things explain why people ultimately choose one person over another. And it doesn't show you the psychology behind the people who consistently create opportunities on this platform. Because once you understand that opportunities are created in the mind, the tactics will become obvious. I've worked with Fortune 500 companies, executives on how to influence human behavior. And over the past 2 decades of this kind of work, as well as interviewing the foremost experts on influence, persuasion, decision-making, I've noticed something really interesting, especially when I apply that to the world of LinkedIn. The most successful people on LinkedIn have these 5 things in common. Number 1, they are very clear about what they want to achieve from the platform. See, those who are successful know exactly what they want. The ones that want clients are focused on leads being gained. The ones that are trying to grow an audience as a creator to get brand deals obsess over impressions, reach, likes, engagement. And so you have to know what you want. And Once you understand that, you'll be able to do what you need to do to get to the goals that you set out for yourself. And if you don't know what you want, you'll go into this gray zone where you are just going to be in for a lot of hurt because you might be a business owner who's trying to get clients, but you're measuring yourself on the number of likes and engagement. You're just going to be in pain for a lot of the time. So remember this: the ones who are really successful know what they want. Number two, they believe that clarity is better than cleverness. So what do I mean by this? Whenever you're communicating, make it clear, make it very simple. I came across a series of experiments by Oppenheimer from Princeton. And one of my favorite experiments was that they ran a study whereby they asked technical researchers to look at abstracts or titles of papers. When they looked at very complex titles versus very simple titles, they rated the simple titles as easier to understand, absolutely. But what was really fantastic about that study was that they even rated the people behind those titles as more credible and more competent. Think about that. A lot of times when you communicate, especially if you're in the technical realm, you want to make it very complicated because of all the work that you've done. But the more simple you make it, it actually increases the perception of your competence. So know this: the ones who are successful make sure that everything that they put out is simple and clear, and that helps boost not just the ability to understand it, but their perception of your competence. Number three, they believe that different is better than better. A lot of folks, when they portray their skills on the platform, they say, I'm the best at this, or I am better at that, or this is how I can better solve a specific problem. If you are not different, if you are not distinct from everything else that people are seeing on the platform, you might as well be invisible. Because in the end, people need to remember you in order to choose you. And if you're showing up day in and day out, just being the one out of the thousands of people saying the same things, looking the same, you're not remembered and you won't be recalled. And if there's a position open or if there's an opportunity, your name won't be top of mind. So understand this: the folks who are successful, they make sure that they're distinct, they're different, they come across as the signal among all the noise. Before I reveal to you the next two psychological beliefs that make someone super successful on LinkedIn, I want to let you in on an assessment that I put together. You see, LinkedIn is but one platform. And if you are an expert who's looking to go from invisible to in demand, you can create an influence system around that expertise so that you can be known, so you can get opportunities that you desire. So if you want to know how you're doing and how is your influence system performing, go click on the link in the description, in the show notes, and you'll find an assessment that's absolutely free to help you figure out where you're good at and where you're lacking, and give you the gaps in which you can fill to really move you from an invisible expert to someone who is the obvious choice. Number four, really important here, they know that opportunities are social. The platform ultimately is a place where you can form relationships. So instead of just shooting out content and not doing anything else on the platform, go meet somebody, go interact, go make a friend, form a relationship, bring it from online to offline. That's how relationships can blossom into tremendous opportunities. It's a way for you to develop bigger, broader networks. And like the saying goes, your net worth is because of your network. So go build the relationships that matter and bring you the opportunities that you desire. Number five, they are associated with a very specific problem. In the end, I totally subscribe to the late Clay Christensen's idea of jobs to be done. People don't buy products, they buy a solution to a problem. And that can be a tangible problem, it could be a psychological problem, but people ultimately want to solve problems. So if you are associated with a problem that you solve that's very specific for the people that you want to serve, you will have opportunities. I always think back to Snickers campaign about "You're not you when you're hungry." You know that campaign where they associated their candy bar as a solution to hunger? Absolutely brilliant. Those on the platform who are associated with solving a specific problem will become very successful. There you have it. The psychology behind the people who are the most successful, who make the most money on LinkedIn. So when you think about how people get to where they are, it's not about being the smartest, being about the loudest, and certainly not the ones who have the most followers. It's really understanding that to create these opportunities, you have to own a spot, a place in the mind of those in which you seek to serve. If you enjoy this, please subscribe to the channel. More on influence, persuasion, and everything you need to go from invisible to in demand. And check out this video on how you can be better than 99% of people who use LinkedIn. I give you the LinkedIn five specific ways in which you can improve your LinkedIn game. Go click on the link here if you are watching on YouTube, and if you are listening, it's the episode published on April 21st. I'll see you there.